It's so good to see you again. I'm Selene Latrine.
And I'm Topsy Tail.
And this is the third episode of our show.
Selene and Topsy's Tales.
Yes, and we have our delicious beverages. We wish we could be sharing them with you, but we're here together. And we have something very special planned for today. Throughout both of our lives, we have acquired an intense array of odd and interesting objects.
Selene has kept many tchotchkes over the years.
Yeah.
Some of them blasphemous, some of them disturbing, all of them amusing.
That's right. Topsy has a unique knack for creating props and interesting stuff that we put on stage. So today we'll be talking about some of those as well. We are going to cover our first item. It's like the Antiques Roadshow, but of useless, weird shit that I have that Topsy has. Topsy, could you show the camera the beautiful treasure that sits on our table here? Thank you, Topsy. You do such a wonderful job Vanna Whiting things. Look at that. Look at that craftsmanship. This is absolutely one of my favorite pieces in my, quote, collection. This wonderful treasure is from a magical place called Florida, where crocodiles, no wait, is it alligator? It's alligators roam free. And on one particular trip, I discovered this beautiful, wonderful treasure. If you can't see very well, that indeed is Jesus Christ being crucified in Florida. You'll see that Jesus has been festooned with an array of beautiful seashells. I don't know if this happened before or after Jesus was crucified. You know, it seems a little bit like a strange thing. Mormons believe that the Garden of Eden was in America, right? And some people evidently also think Jesus lived in Florida, because as you can see by this beautiful piece, there is a very classy Florida magnet, like something you would see just hot glued onto a magnet in a souvenir shop, just right there on the Son of God. What are your feelings about this item, Topsy?
Well, you know, it seems kind of like maybe they were riffing on the Venus on the half shell. And you know how Christians love to just erase any other belief system and substitute their own. I do wonder about the weird flesh tone cross.
Has he like merged with the cross to become like part of his body? So he's like this mega Jesus that is also part cross. What would you say about this piece from an art history point of view?
I wouldn't. This is an ahistorical item. This does not fit into any tradition of craft. This is just an abomination.
But an abomination that has a well-worn place in our home. What would you call this sculpture? If you were to catalog it for a museum, what would you name this piece?
Florida. That's what I would call it, because it really does encapsulate everything about Florida.
Like?
Fake religiosity, just cheesy tourist trap level tripe that people pay money for no apparent reason.
Who wouldn't love like a flesh-toned Christ being crucified at the shores of the Atlantic Ocean? Maybe there was like a flamingo that stopped by. Maybe, who knows? It's Florida. Anything could happen. All right. Does that about sum it up for Jesus by the Sea?
So.
By the sea, it's Jesus by the sea. A tropical fish came to see you crucified. Hey, it's a gator. Hey, it's a flamingo. All right, so moving right along, we're on to our second item, and it's something from Topsy's past. So I'm very excited for this one.
Well, I don't know why, because all it is is this silver bone that I used to wear when I was a teenager. I wore it every day without fail. I know I was pretty young. I had to have been about 15.
Yeah.
15, 16, probably more like 16, maybe even 17. Well, it's not very expensive. You can tell that it's the same kind of cheap, like cast fake metal.
What were you like around the time when you bought this necklace and when you were wearing it? Like, what kind of stuff were you into?
Well, at that point, I was, I had just really gotten into goth in terms of like the music. So I was still pretty much in my metal phase, coming out of metal into goth at that particular point.
What were some of the names of the bands you were in when you were in your late teens, early 20s? They're good.
I mean, I've been in a lot of bands. My very first band, and the band that I was in at the age of 17, was called Dutch Courage. Just an awful name. Awful name. Fun band. There was Dutch Courage. That lasted for quite a while. And tell you the truth, the next band that I was in, just like a pretty standard like alterna rock band called Baby Fish Mouth. Another horrible name, but another like great bunch of people. But yeah, I don't know how much more you want to know about that.
Our next item is one of Topsy's many amazing creations, prop creations, costume creations. Topsy is a phenomenally gifted creator with felt, with glue, with fabric, with paint. I would go that far. So Topsy, what were some of the things you made like when you were a little kid that really got you into making costumes and props and stuff?
Well, I mean, what got me into it was Halloween. I loved Halloween.
Halloween queen.
As a little kid, and that just propelled me. So I would always make things to put in the front yard. I would stuff some old clothes and seat it in a chair by the door, and like put a pumpkin on its head. Or probably one of my favorites was I made this werewolf head with an articulated mouth, and I put LEDs and a little controller in the back. Now mind you, I'm like 10, 10, 11, and I'm like doing like wiring up the eyes. But that kind of thing.
Yeah. And so that kind of segued into, in recent years when we've done more performing stuff, Topsy's had all these great ideas. We did a show that wasn't a drag show, it wasn't a burlesque show, and it was a performative night, an event of people who are comics artists and illustrators making performances of their different pieces.
Well, we did a mashup of Ghost Adventures with the illustrious Zach Bagans.
Yep, Zach Bagans.
And also Jackson Galaxy of My Cat from Hell.
That's
in
right.
The Animal Planet show where he tries to rehabilitate fucked up cats. The plot was that both Zach Bagans and Jackson Galaxy had been called to this home to determine whether or not Barney the cat, who had been squashed by a Christmas tree many years ago, was dead and haunting the place, or alive and merely hiding somewhere.
Right.
The prop for this was our ghost Barney.
Yep.
The eyes light up. See? Oh yeah, Barney's spooky. So it's also filled full of lights. You can't really see it here, but the whole thing lights up with this sort of ethereal purplish blue glow, which is great. We had a lot of fun with Barney here. And now Barney has a prominent place in our home.
Yeah. Not only did Topsy make Barney, but Topsy rigged up a whole situation that allowed this cat to scale a paper tree
I just took fishing line. We put him inside of a present. It was just a box wrapped like a present.
Yep.
And he popped his head out when I pulled the fishing line from the back, and then scaled the tree, and then the tree fell over, squashing his ghost form again. I guess. Or maybe he's just reliving his accident over and over.
Maybe, as Zach Baggins would say, it's a residual haunting.
Ah, yes.
Not an intelligent haunting.
Yes. Poor Barney.
Poor Barney.
There we go.